Welcome to another episode of Ask Forza. It is halftime in the Kings-Warriors game, so we decided to record another video. In this video, the question that was asked is, what did we look for in horses when they were showing underperformance that didn't chalk up to soundness? So to jump right into the question, there are so many answers of underperformance in racehorses that are not chalked up to soundness, which is why training I always found a lot of fun because it's a constant moving puzzle of what you have to figure out to keep these horses performing at a high level. One of the first things I want to jump into, and it's a major thing in horse racing that is constantly missed, is good dental care in racehorses. Obviously, a lot of things happen from poor dental care, and when I claimed horses, the first thing that I did was put my hand back in their mouth, check their teeth, and most of the time, most of them needed a dentist to work on them. Obviously, you have where the bit sits in the mouth. If they have sharp edges on their teeth, they can have cuts on the sides of their mouth. There's a lot of things that go hand in hand with poor dentistry. One of the things that I did want to talk about and let Dominique discuss a little bit is, we would find there's great dentists, there's good dentists, and then there's really bad dentists at the racetrack. So you have to know who you're working with, but at the same time, there's two modalities that have differences of opinion. One is using power tools to float teeth, and the other is hand floating teeth. So what were some of the things that you saw, and what's your opinion on the two different types of way to do equine dentistry?
Well, first of all, the way a horse's teeth wear is that the outside of the upper teeth become very sharp, and the insides on the lower teeth become very sharp because of the way that they chew and that grinding motion. And so, as you can imagine, over time, those sharp points can become like little knives. Like if you put your hand in their mouth, you can cut yourself. So imagine they can cut their tongue. It can be very uncomfortable where the bit sits in their mouth. And so oftentimes it affects their performance on the racetrack because of the bit, but also if every time they chew, they're cutting themselves, they're not going to be eating as much as you would want them to or is as good for them. There are two types of, it's called floating a horse's teeth, and that's when you use tools to grind down those sharp points to make them smooth. There are hand floats and there are power tools. Regardless of how you do it, in my opinion, you cannot get to the back of a horse's mouth properly and do a good job without some sedation. Dexmedetomidine, butorphanol, xylazine, whatever you use, the horse needs to be, a little dopey to do your job properly. I personally prefer power tools. It's quicker, it's easier, and with that added sedation, you can really get a good job in the back. With that said, a very skilled hand floater can do a very good job. But again, to me, it comes down to whether you're willing to sedate the horse.
So another thing, and she made a good point there, is back of the mouth. So what a lot of people don't think is obviously with a horse, you've got teeth that go all the way back. And if you aren't hitting those back teeth, it doesn't matter what you've done up front, their jaw can get a little bit off kilter. And so when we bring in and used to bring in chiropractors into the barn, you'd have horses that would have
temporomandibular joint.
Yeah, so their what Dominique just said, the TMJ joint would be out of alignment. And a lot of that would be because the horse's teeth in the back of their mouth were not level to what they needed to be. So it could have been that somebody kept floating the teeth and not hitting the back, and that just became worse and worse and worse. And once we took care of that and adjusted the horse, now all of a sudden a horse that was too strong on the bit has now dropped the bit. They've now relaxed in training, because if you think about that, if your jaw is sore, every time a rider grabs a hold of that horse, they're going to fight the bit. There's going to be a lot of different issues that go into that. So this is going to be a long topic. We're going to make multiple videos that come out specifically on this question because there's so many ways we can go.
What do you commonly see at the racetrack age-wise? 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds and up. 2-year-olds still have caps on their teeth, so they still have baby teeth that they're losing. So you also need a dentist to go in every 6 months, check the caps, sometimes remove those caps so that those adult teeth can come in. So the mouth is super important just from any standpoint. And again, a lot of people just tend to, it's basic husbandry, and a lot of people tend not to focus on it.
And it's a huge performance inhibitor, and it's a huge step forward. I mean, because when you have horses that either have a sore mouth or they have a sore TMJ, basically what happens is those horses either become really tough in the morning, or they fret when they go to the racetrack, or there's so many behavioral issues that come with mouth issues in racehorses that because you can't train them properly, because you can't take a hold of them, you can't get them as fit as you want to, then when they run, they don't perform, or in a breeze, they blow a turn. There's so many things on this topic, and that's kind of why this video is already 5 minutes and we're just talking about teeth. So I'm gonna cut this short. Tune in for tomorrow because we're gonna talk about bits and how bits can actually move a horse forward as well.